everyone, Eileen back with you here again, and today I'm showcasing some stencils from Sweet Poppy Stencil. Another case card, mainly because I enjoy doing these. There's so much white space, they're quick and easy, and they're fun. And you've got to do what gives you fun, haven't you? So this one features a stencil called Fairy Sprite, and it's designed by Tracy Dutton of Lavinia Stamps. And I've used it against a background of another Sweet Poppy Stencils called Teardrops. And this is a total favourite of mine. I use it all the time. It is so handy, filling in any gaps that you've missed. It's brilliant as on its own as a background or as a pattern. I just love it. So useful. So coming back to those in a minute, I want to tell you a bit about the card itself. I've used Bockingford watercolour paper. And the main reason I did that is that I wanted to see what it would be like with the brushes that I'm using, you know, the makeup brushes and Distress inks, and to see what sort of texture it gave me, what sort of finish it gave me. Well, it gave me a really lovely finish. It's a gentle, subtle finish, but at the same time really super smooth as well, so it blended well on that. Now the paper itself has got a sort of a slight creamy tinge to it, and it's not the cheapest of papers, so I didn't want to, although I wanted a one layer card, I didn't want to use it for the complete card. So what I've done, I've got some cream linen cardstock from the Paper Mill Direct, and I've made a card blank out of that. And then I've just mounted the Bockingford cardstock on the top so that I wouldn't waste it over the whole card when it wasn't necessary, really. So, but I'm rather pleased with how it came out. So let's get going. Now I want to tell you about the colours I've used for this before I start. I used wild honey, mustard seed, and a tiny amount of rusty hinge, and also a blue faded jeans. Now you can't see the blue because I've blended it in with the mustard seed, so it's given me green. I don't dislike it, I think it's lovely. So I'm really pleased with that, but the card that I'm going to show you today, I'm going to use a totally different colour palette for a change. So this is what we're aiming for. My stencil station, homemade stencil station, because I'm using a metal stencil and it needs to fit snugly to stop the ink going underneath the stencil. So down it goes, just centre it up, like so. Beautiful image. Ah, yes, a first mistake, almost. The first stencil that I'm using is the Teardrop stencil, obviously for the background. It's just that I love that Fairy Sprite so much, I can't wait to work with her. Okay, so homemade stencil station, magnetic sheet, nice and tight onto that. And also a little bit of Sweet Poppy stencil tape, because I want to protect the cardstock stop at top and bottom from getting any ink on it. That's that. I'm using makeup brushes, 3 of them, because I'm using different colour tones now of pink. Picked raspberry, worn lipstick, and tattered rose. I'm going to give those a bash, see how we get on. Okay, so the first one I want to apply, I think I will go with worn lipstick, and that will be, and also taking some copy paper by the side of me here. Let's move these out of the way. so that I can take some of the ink off. When you're applying ink through a stencil like this with these brushes, you need to apply the ink in layers. If it's too wet, you're going to get the wetness of the ink going through the stencil and it's going to leak and you'll get a bit of a mess. So take your time, dab it on and then dab it off again. And then I'm using a circular motion and just putting on a layer. In fact, I'm going more or less all over. Maybe I'll leave the top bit so that it will be just for the tattered rose. But this is the medium of the colours. Picked raspberry is a lot brighter. Tattered rose obviously is a paler colour. So gently does it, blending it through the stencil very gently, not heavy-handed. Hand is quite loose, so I'm skimming over the surface of the stencil and therefore the paper. Right, now I'm going to use picked raspberry and the same brush. Now that's a very wet, so I don't want, oh, wrong one. No, it is right. I don't want too much ink going on because it's very, very bright. I don't know how much of a tone this will give me, different from the other two. Hopefully it will be noticeable. So as you can see, I'm building up the layers of this pink, just concentrating in this area. Not too much ink at a time, but just a layer. And then take some off again, and then another layer. Okay, now let's go for... I'm trying to find a tonal difference between them, and there is at the moment, but I don't know how much that will stay there. Hopefully the tattered rose will find its own integrity too. So a very small brush for this one. And this pad is quite dry, so I'm really laying it in. Coming down. Oh, that pad is far too dry, I think. So I'm going to have to use a bigger brush. What's this one? Now that's yellow, that won't do. Right, gone for a bigger brush, really loading the ink up, but I don't think it's very wet, this one. So giving it a broader sweep now, otherwise I would have been here all day. Around. Oh yeah, I can see the colour coming through, and it is so different from the other two, and that's what I was looking for. I didn't want there to be a sort of a same blend of colour all over the stencil. I wanted to be able to see the different shades of pink, and that's what I've got. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Right, I think that will do. So let's take that off and have a look. Fingers crossed it hasn't leaked underneath the stencil. If it does, it's just that your ink pads were too wet and you didn't take enough off. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so you can go on there. You can go on there, and this stencil can go straight into water. Actually, I want to share something with you. This will come off very quickly, this, because obviously they're water-based inks. But I'm going to be using archival ink in a moment with that fairy. And when I do, it will be going into water, the stencil. Not so easy to clean off because it isn't water-based. But I use this, and this is called Biotech Stain Removing Powder. I used to use this years ago. I couldn't find it in the shop, so a friend of mine, Karen, told me that she found hers on Amazon. So I went onto Amazon, and there it was. Absolutely fabulous. 10 minutes soak, and then with a brush that removed all of my archival black ink. Really good. With Biotech, I don't think you can buy it in single packets. I had to buy a pack of 4. Reasonable price, will last a long, long time, and it does what it says on the packet, stain removing, but in this instance it's ink. Just thought I'd share that with you. Okay. So, now, pop that down on there. I know I'm looking for, just clear away these ink pads and the brushes, make myself a bit of room. And I'm looking for this gorgeous fairy. Isn't she beautiful? Going to need my stencil station again. This time I'm going to put a bit of copy paper down too. And pop her on there. Get the same border top and bottom, and also try and get the sides even as well. But if it doesn't matter that much, to be honest. That'll do. Let's check that you can see okay. Yes, you can. All right. Archival black and a smoothie. Small smoothie. And I'm also going to cover the sides. I don't want to get any black stray ink over the background that I've just prepared. So I have to, oh, that's a lot of tape. That's better. Waste not, want not, eh? Pop some there. Not bothered about it sticking it down because the stencil down, because believe me, this is this magnetic sheet is so strong this stencil won't move at all. But I just don't want the cardstock to get mucky. So on goes the black archival. Nice and opaque, but all over first. I'll do a layer at a time. Quite a good pad in the sense that it's newish. It's not old. Try not to rock the camera. Elegant image, this fairy. Really elegant. See how we go with this. Try and get all those little features in all around her. The wings, her wings, and the little dots. Mustn't forget her foot. So we go. Take your time. It's no rush. I'm having a nice relaxed day today. Got a busy day tomorrow, and what's tomorrow? Thursday. Thursday and Friday I've got a lot of work to do, so I won't be filming then, but I'm planning 2 Lavinia Stamps tutorials at the weekend, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. There we go. So I'm looking forward to that, sharing those with you. Let's have a look, see how she's doing here. And before I touch that, I'm going to wipe my fingers on a piece of tissue and pick her up. Oh, look, she's gorgeous, isn't she? And straight into water with the stencil. Down she comes, and then we're just going to finish this off. Right, I'm going to stamp. I've got a small stamp here. Couldn't find the other one that I used, so I don't know what I've done with that. It's probably dropped on the floor somewhere, and it's stuck to someone's shoe or something, but anyway, no matter, I've got another one there. This one says I love you. Got a small fleck of ink there. It's just catching my eye. Anyway, I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. Let's just ink this up. Gorgeous day again today. And then I'm not going to stamp across. There's no laws about it. You know, you can stamp any which way direction you like. So for the balance of the card, I'm going up this way. It just means that whoever reads it has sort of got to turn their head a bit. Okay, so down. Look better in a vertical position rather than horizontal. It certainly does. Look, much better balance for the card. Oh dear. Okay. Then the final thing that I'm going to do is, after wiping my hands again, because I've been touching ink, and that was VersaFine Nocturne that I used to stamp the stamp. I've got a gold pen here, and I'm just going to go round, quite carefully in fact, some of these patterns in the background, the teardrops themselves and the circles. And it just adds a bit of interest. But I do want to take my time with this because this is quite a clean image. And it will be noticeable if you went too much out of the lines with it. Mind you, she says that. Look at that. It's a right mess there. But I think I can save it. I'll do another one there. Not going to do them all, but I'm going to do a fair few because it makes it look so good. Sings it out, pops it out. It's just, I think it's a Uniball. It's just a gold pen from Uniball, Signio Uniball. And I believe I got a whole set of these pens, all in different colours, and they're all sort of sparkly, glittery pens from Cult Pens. I'm sure that's where I got them from. It was online anyway. Now I'm not going to go near the ones near her body because I don't want to get any gold onto the opaque blackness of her main image. So I'm just doing these that are round about the outside. I'll do one more because otherwise you'll fall asleep and start talking about me. So I'm not doing all of that because it's too close to her hand, and I'm not doing all of that because it's too close to her hand, and that one I'm not going to go near her eye. So that should about do it. Just do as few or as many as you like. I do need to do this one as well, I think. Yeah, that's not bad. For me, that isn't bad because I'm usually pretty good because I can't be bothered with all this patient stuff. So I'm inclined to rush it, and then I just ruin the outline. It's not neat enough, but this isn't too bad. I don't think that's too bad. You can take your time and have a go at that, but I think that it does zing it out a little bit more. And then finally, the good old enamel accents, or you can use pearl drops or something, or you could just use beads if you like. So just to add a little bit more interest, I'm going to add some very small dots here. Bearing in mind I'm minding my hand, it's been near that black ink. Oh, 5 on that one, 3 here. Tiny, tiny ones are, oh, that's a bit bigger, but anyway, never mind. That won't hurt. Couple there. Some around the bottom here. Not doing all of them, but a fair few. So, and another one here, I think, and then I'll call it a day. Just down and up. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. And then I'll mount that on the card base, and the card base size is 11 centimetres by 15 centimetres. That's the size of this card. So you've got 2 different colourways here. I've got the lovely pinks and then the lemons and limes, as I call it, on that one. But it was sort of pale orange, wasn't it? Honey something or other. Anyway, hope that you've enjoyed it today. I've loved showing you this. And I'll be back soon. Well, I'll be back on Saturday and Sunday with some Lavinia stamps inspiration, hopefully, for you. Take care, everybody. Have a nice day and stay safe. Bye for now.